This spec is, building icicles, casting frostbolts. I mean, I kind of ruined someone's day, man. Anytime now. Oh, brain freeze procs! Glacial spike time, baby!
The child of Azeroth!
Oh yeah, fire might be reigning supreme right now, but if you don't want to have fun just for 10 seconds every 2 minutes, and also spike so hard that Destro locks will feel weird, then check the talents, gear, corruptions, the rotation, plus some more tips and tricks for Frost in 8.3 because Frost Mage still has some class. You can and should catch us play Frost Mage on stream, twitch.tv/Marcelian Online. We stream 5 days a week, testing and practicing all kinds of specs, doing keys with you lovely people, and raiding sometimes. We have a few different time segments, so you shouldn't miss it. There are a couple of build variations for Frost that you can use, and all are simming closely to each other. It matters based on what you gear for, mastery making a difference in some cases, and we will go over the basics in this video. On the first row you have two choices. Bone chilling will most likely be your default choice for a lot, if not all of the scenarios. This is the choice you make if you plan to play the Glacial Spike and or the No Icelands build. There is nothing extraordinary in how this row operates. Both this and the Lonely Winter, which is the other option, specifically if you play either the Orb build or Thermal Void on the last row, are options that passively increase your damage without any change to your rotation, with Lonely Winter being clearly an option that removes your pet, giving up on its own freeze ability that can help you shatter spells normally. Second row is the mobility row. I have seen some people use multiple choices here, and fundamentally it comes down to your personal preference. There is no denying, however, that Shimmer sees the most universal use out of here. It's a simple blink that doesn't interrupt your cast and helps you position, dodge mechanics, and essentially packs mobility with minimal downsides to your ABC. Third row pick Encounter's Flow. This will give you overall the most consistency since there are more frequent big moments during your rotation when you can shatter a bunch of spells and Rune of Power just isn't worth it. Outside of Icy Veins, your damage revolves around shattering a big Glacial Spike, which happens more often than the uptime of Rune of Power would allow. Plus, it's easier to use, doesn't impair your positioning also. Next up, take Frozen Touch. The options here seem very closely to each other, so whatever option you pick won't impact you too heavily. Frozen Touch is also easier to use, and not just that. Being passive gives you freedom to focus on other things. Ebon Bolt is a more controlled way of achieving your procs, while Chain Reaction will work for the Frozen Orb build. On the fifth row, you gain some crowd control. Again, the choice falling onto your preferences. Frigid Winds is the simple, set and forget, passive on the row. Your slows, slow for more. Ice Ward can be an interesting addition if you are playing with heavy loads of corruptions and need to consistently stop things from beyond, while Ring of Frost is a niche for very specific purposes. You can freeze targets with it, but the effect is broken on damage, so keep that in mind. Moving down, currently in 8.3, Splitting Ice is the universal choice here regardless of whatever other talent you pick down the road. It helps with cleave scenarios, and for AoE purposes tends to still be better than Freezing Rain, which in the past has been the staple for the Orb build. Last row solidifies the two playstyles. Glacial Spike is the big daddy, I want to hit harder with one spell than anyone else in the game choice. Having this means Icelands will no longer shoot out icicles as well. Pair this up with proper Azerites and a lot of mastery will make your Frostbolt hit harder than Icelands, essentially making Icelands a DPS loss to cast. To be 100% sure of this, you need to sim or test it yourself when this happens for your character. Alternatively, Thermal Void brings back Icelands into the game. It has a different playstyle where you play both procs, can be a choice since, at least for me, seems very close to Glacial Spike. This can change with Azerite and different stat distributions and corruption, so Let's check that shit out! Frost Mage has only one real stat breakpoint you want. That aside, the simply best way to gear is focusing mastery first. This will make you reach a point where Icelands becomes a dead spell, sure, but you will deal more damage. After mastery, you want crit until 33.34%. The reason for this is because of the Shatter passive, which multiplies your crit chance against frozen targets by 1.5 and adds 50% on top of it, meaning that with 33.34% crit chance, you will have a total of 100.1% crit during Shatter, and there isn't a real point to go for more than that, which is why you want haste after this with versatility and the rest of the crit at the bottom. Building like this will make you Shatter spells more important because they will always crit, and funneling mastery into them increases their base damage, hence larger crits. One quick disclaimer here: if you want to play the orb build for funsies, cause it is funsy, mastery is a very bad stat for it. As such, the consumables will be mastery focused, keeping in mind what we just discussed. A cord of mastery for your rings, masterful sea current for all of the sockets, and masterful navigation for your weapon. Did I mention mastery is a good stat? Yeah. The flask will clearly be the greater flask of endless fathoms, with the potion of unbridled fury as the best single target DPS option. Potion of superior intellect can be your default AoE option, but if you fight large packs and you can stay relatively in melee range, empowered proximity will be way better then. Fit in with either feasts or risole for the added food buff, whichever will be readily available when you raid or smash those keys, glacial spike styles. The way Frost scales in 8.3 makes your traits fairly straightforward as far as the best in slot are concerned. Flash freeze, stack 3 times. End of story. Alright, as a disclaimer, again, please, if you want 100% accuracy in everything, not just traits, sim and make your choices. I'm saying this because sometimes we get comments with people suggesting different things as being better. We appreciate the feedback, and if anything, would like to hear opinions about pretty much everything we say in the video. A lot of the things we recommend are researched from the top players and also simmed and tested, but that doesn't mean other stuff cannot be better in specific situations. Every character is different, so we aim at giving you a direction. Once you have flash freeze in every possible slot, aim for generic stat traits, in accordance with the stat priority we discussed. Heart of Darkness is the best example, particularly because it's guaranteed to drop in the raid. Same goes for secondary stats. Skitra will probably give you your best chest piece with both Flash Freeze and Heart of Darkness. The difference is that N'Zoth and Carapace give the Azerite at a higher eye level, but both Flash Freeze and Heart of Darkness are on the same row, so other notable traits that you could get if they sim better on a higher eye level piece are White Out and Packed Ice. The traits work well with Icelands, which doesn't work as well with Glacial Spike. Can still be fun though. Overwhelming Power and Unstable Flames will be your strongest secondaries, but keep in mind you also have Blood Siphon for the mastery. Resounding Protection or any other self-healing trait will be your best in slot on that last row. For single target, the two best majors are Condensed Life Force, standardly, and Memory of Lucid Dreams with high amounts of mastery from corruptions as well. The minors can be Conflict and Strife, big versatility buff, huge uptime, Breath of the Dying for the raw damage output, Focusing Iris for the single target haste, and if you haven't chosen it as a major, Memory of Lucid Dreams. In dungeons, mainly any AoE scenarios, raids included, Focusing Iris Major will be your best in slot. There's an argument to be made for Whirl Vein Resonance as well. This is probably the most versatile essence for majors for all of the content, raids as well, since the effect is simple, intellect gains on a very short cooldown. As for minors, similar to single target, and you can also fit in a Purification Protocol on top of your conflicts, breaths of the dying, memory of the lucid dreams, and so on. Really, 8.3 has done a much better job at balancing these out, so feel free to test a whole bunch of essences. Before Shadowlands, of course. This raid tier currently dominates the trinket scene for all specs pretty much. Humming Black Dragon Scale and Vita Charged Titan Shard are two of the best haste trinkets in this expansion. One has smaller, more frequent procs, while the Vita one procs massive haste chunks, giving you a mini Time Warp-like boost. Psyche Shredder is a pure damage output option, and you don't really need to think about what it does and performs well in AoE scenarios, while the Manifesto of Madness from N'Zoth scales with your cloak, having an awesome secondary effect in raids. You'll be able to loot 2 guaranteed weapons corrupted from the raid. Shiglayos comes with a higher eye level and rank 2 infinite stars. This corruption is very bad on any fight with more than one target, but can sim really well with the Lonely Winter / Thermal Void build if you want those increased chances of proccing and higher parses. Otherwise, maybe cleanse it later on. Eye Stalk of Il'gynoth is another specific choice. The Ineffable Truth only performs well in AoE scenarios, so could be good for Mythic Plus. But as far as raw corruptions go, Twilight Devastation is the best simming AoE choice if you can stay close enough and not get shafted by the RNG proc. It's also really expensive. Twisted Appendage is the infinite stars with a bit less damage but no downsides when fighting more than one priority target. Same with Gushing Wound, which is actually the best damage you can get per corruption cost. Similar to Ineffable Truth, Glimpse of Clarity will be really good in AoE only. Other than this, we only have the stat corruptions to talk about, with everything we discussed in the stats section in mind. Masterful and Honed Mind will always be good for you no matter what, while their crit counterparts can be underwhelming if you already attained your crit cap, or in this case breakpoint. The haste and versatility variants will be a good choice if you already are packing a big chunk of their respective stats, so that the increase is worth the corruption cost. The opener is very basic regardless of build. Pre-pot and use Condensed Life Force. Cast Frostbolt 2 seconds before the pool, pop Icy Veins with any other on-use effects, launch a Frozen Orb, and start your normal rotation. In terms of priority when using Glacial Spike, your main essence, Condensed Life Force for instance will be the top of the list. Icy Veins next on cooldown. Cast Flurry if you have Brain Freeze and already casted the Glacial Spike, hence shattering the spike. Cast Frozen Orb next. Use Ebon Bolt if you are at 5 Icicles with no Brain Freeze proc for Glacial Spike. Cast Glacial Spike if you have the Brain Freeze to shatter it, or if you are at 5 stacks of Encounters Flow. Fill in with Frostbolts. Icelands will only be cast in cleave situations or if you need to move. Frostmage is a bit different than other casters in that the spells have travel time until they hit the target to consume procs and buffs, and abusing this will gain you a lot of damage, hence staying far enough from the target is something you have to actively keep in mind. If you are playing Thermal Void, the priority is similar with the exception of Icelands being included to consume procs and help with shatters. To shatter a basic spell, you need the Brain Freeze proc. The spell can be a Frostbolt, Ebon Bolt, or Glacial Spike. Once you have the Brain Freeze proc, start casting your soon-to-be shattered spell, follow it up with an instant flurry and a quick Ice Lance afterwards. Due to the nature of their travel time, all 3 will hit at the same time and benefit from the crit mechanic. So for the Thermal Void priority, Ice Lance after every flurry is at the top of your priority list, followed by Condensed Life Force. Icy Veins again on cooldown. Flurry with the Brain Freeze proc after already casting Ebon Bolt or Frostbolt for the shattering goodness. Cast any other major essence. Frozen Orb next. Ice Lance to consume Fingers of Frost. Ebon Bolt next. Frostbolt for filling. Note that I understand I'm not shattering spells here. The point of this section is to give you a visual cue to what spells are higher up on the priority list, not the actual rotation. The actual rotation sees you generate icicles and fish for procs, consuming them as you should based on your talent build. Frost Mage plays the no Icelands build because Flash Freeze is a strong trait that buffs every other spell too much to consider Icelands as part of your normal rotation outside moving and cleave. This and more can be found in the Altered Time community, where the top mages reside and provide us with tons of high-level information. Mages such as Norinir and Dorovan help us consistently with understanding mages, and we highly recommend checking them out. Not to mention, you can find written guides for more advanced playstyles. Always learning, guys. And of course, we thank our Patreons very much for their support to our channel and our content. You motivate us to continuously push the quality and consistency of our videos, so hats are tipped to you, fair ladies and gentlemen. And if you're interested in supporting us a little bit more and wanting to see what this whole Patreon business is all about, the link is down below and you will find some goodies along the way. So thank you for watching the video, have a nice day, and we'll see you in the next one.